I've selected 3 data breaches here. These are all mid-market organizations that lost a lot of money as a result of financially driven attacks. The first is a plastics manufacturer in the U.S. That was hit with a phishing attack. And the attackers here were able to identify somebody within the organization, not the CFO, but somebody below them who provides support in the financial business unit to and target them with the Zeus banking Trojan. And that individual opened up, clicked on a link, and nothing happened. They walked away. They deleted the message and went on with their day. But really, what happened in the background was that a keystroke logger had been dropped on that victim's machine, and this plastics manufacturer had been infiltrated. What the attackers did next was gain the individual's account credentials, and that gave them basically the keys to the kingdom because this individual had some pretty high privileges. They monitored the business processes at the plastics manufacturer and knew when to make some wire transfers and not necessarily get right away. So they were able to steal $374,000 in 2 wire transfers, and this organization was actually notified by their bank when a third attempt, $500,000 attempt, was made, and the banks finally detected the activity. Again, this plastics manufacturer did not get the funds back. Ultimately, what happens in many cases, these funds get transferred into legitimate bank accounts in the U.S., and then from there, the money is transferred once again and ultimately makes its way into a international money laundering network that is monitored by the authorities, and they do take action. They use some of the data from monitoring that particular the money laundering activity, but they don't necessarily take action all the time, right? It has to, the criminal activity has to reach a certain threshold before law enforcement really does step in. This is an agricultural business, and this was a business that had a distributed IT environment and a lot of legacy gear within their IT infrastructure. There was a brute force attack carried out. This was an attempt to basically, using an automated tool, the attackers attempted to gain access to the person in charge of paying the bills at this organization to their machine, and they were pretty persistent. It took them 6 days and 37 failed login attempts. The organization, the agricultural business, was not able to detect this activity, or just didn't have somebody manning the solution that could detect brute force login attempts. And this attacker or this attack campaign was able to make off with $250,000 in 3 wire transfers over 3 days. This business did not get their money back, and they went into crisis mode and had to spend on security to prevent the issue from happening again. And when an organization does go into crisis mode spending on security, that's when the data breach costs rise pretty significantly. This is a maintenance firm, and this is really gets to what I'm trying to get across with regards to attacker sophistication. This was a group of cyber criminals that were very well organized and systematic in their attack campaigns that they carried out. 26 people were involved in this. They mined publicly available databases in order to get data on specific individuals within organizations. And in this case, it was a payroll clerk, and They sent a malicious file attachment to get on the payroll clerk's machine. Once they did get on that endpoint, they conducted reconnaissance activity and basically attempted to record everything that was going on there, and so that they could mimic the payroll that goes out. All of the processes within the organization, so that they mimic the payroll and the processes carried out with regards to payroll, and to not get detected. You can say with 26 people, they only made off with $180,000 overnight. That's a pretty big hit on this maintenance organization. But this attack campaign had multiple victims associated with it, with similar dollar amounts. So it was a pretty significant haul for this group of cyber criminals.